please download and purchase the Good Vibes Only album at keithsharif.com. If you would like to hear the full song to our intro, check out track 5 on the album now. Good Vibes Only. Album out now on all streaming platforms.
Baby, you're my coat. She got me feeling like a dope fiend. I'm addicted to a black queen, baby, you're my coat. She got me feeling like a dope fiend. I'm addicted to a black queen,
Life After. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Christelle.
And today we have a special guest, Keith Shariff, and he will be talking about his Good Vibes Only album that recently just dropped, almost a month ago?
About a month ago. Yeah.
About a month ago. So yeah, we are excited to hear, and talk about his album and, what's to come in the future. So let's get into it. So today we have an icebreaker question. This is something that I kind of thought off the top of my head, So the question is, what song title describes your life right now?
To describe my life specifically, actually the intro of my album, I would say, Good Vibes Only. Right now I think I'm in a place in my life where I just want, negativity out of my life. Just focus on the good, you know what I mean? And really just focus on that. That's why I kind of chose this album, because it's like, this title for this album, because it surrounds the vibe that I want to bring in any situation I'm in. And just good vibes.
That's what's up. What about you, Christelle?
Yeah, I don't know. Right now, honestly, I have no idea. I could think.
I think mine would be Janae Aiko. Her song of her album Chilumbo, Speak. Cause she basically saying like, speak from your heart, speak from your soul, sugar, say what you want, lady. Like, I don't know, it just made me feel strong and powerful as a woman. Like, I could speak for what I want. I don't have to sit here and like take anybody's shit, and I could be authentically myself and be myself unapologetically. So that's how I feel right now, because I feel empowered and strong.
Oh, okay. If that's the phase you're going into, then I'll probably say, have you ever heard like K. Michelle's song "Love 'Em All"?
Yeah, that's old. That's an old song. Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, that's what I would think, because I just want to love everybody.
Oh, okay. Alrighty.
So I have another question. If you could be any artist in the world, who would you choose to be?
Any music artist?
Any artist, period. Artist, music, art, anything.
That's a really good question. I think I would say it's kind of a weird answer, and it's an answer that I give a lot. But somebody kind of behind the scenes that's doing their thing. Like I admire a lot of writers. So like an artist like Eric Bellinger, John Austin, artists like that. Like I really like the behind the scenes thing, but I feel like as a creative artist, they have the most creativity because they write for other artists, but they're not put in a box as if what they write is only for them. So they get to write different scenarios and different situations, and kind of be around other artists. So I kind of like that, like having that freedom. Because as an artist, when you're put and looked at a certain way, you can't say certain things, can't do certain things, because people will think it's out of your genre. But as a writer, you have more freedom to do different ideas and different genres. So I think a writer would be more.
I like Eric Bellinger. I listen to some of his mixtapes and stuff. I like Eric Bellinger. He's like cool. Like, I feel like he like a little underrated a little bit. Like, people don't like, you know what I'm saying? People don't talk about him much. So he dope. But I don't know, like, if I could be any artist, like, I want to be myself. but I mean, if I could pick anybody, like, of course, it would be Beyonce.
I knew you was going to say that.
Beyonce, Queen Bee. What?
I had a feeling you was going to say that.
Queen Bee.
I wanted to say Alicia Keys.
Okay.
But then I was like, I could see Alicia Keys or Mary J. Blige.
Dang, I ain't think about Mary. But Mary, she been through some stuff, man.
Right.
Mary
Right.
been through some stuff, okay. She really been through some stuff, but I love
So,
Mary J.
yeah,
Blige.
so between those two.
I love Mary J. Blige.
And I just seen the Power, the Ghost, the
Oh.
girls. I think
that's-
she did
that
her
part was dope,
thing.
yeah. I think that's
I
going to
can't
unravel.
wait to see more of it.
Yeah, I think that's going to unravel, and she's going to have a dope character.
That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
All
Have you
right.
seen it yet?
No, girl, I told you I ain't
yeah.
seen it. I want to watch it, though. You have another icebreaker question? Or can we get
I
straight
don't have
into
any
it?
more, so we could get into it.
All right, so your album, debut album, titled Good Vibes Only. So just explain to us who basically inspired you to like create this album.
Who inspired me?
Oh, what?
Who and what inspired you?
I think not really, it wasn't necessarily a person. It was more of a thing and a theme. I think that this album, it really took me from what people know me as to what I really want to be, if that makes sense. I had a lot of freedom on this album where I just kind of just wrote what I felt. I had two different producers that I worked with on this project, and they kind of had a niche of a sound that I like and what they felt that was comfortable for me. So I ran with that. They would send me beats and I would knock it out in minutes because I just felt that they kind of had a niche of what my sound was. So that was big. But with this, again, I was looking at it more of just not having a limit. You know what I mean? Just having fun and just making music. I ain't really put too much thought behind this is what it needs to sound like. This is actually going to be my second album. I had an album before this that I was recording that was a album based on a storyline. But I actually decided to go in this direction first because I really liked the writing on this. And felt that it would connect more to my audience as a debut album. And then that next one following up, which is basically already recorded, you'll kind of see more detail in me. This is a little bit more generic and just me writing as a writer, but the other one is more of a connection to my life and what I've been through and going through.
Okay. So I listened to the album and I have like a few. Well, I got like two favorite songs on the album. You, which is like I use that as my intro on my YouTube. Check it out. And what is it called? Is it Bad Bad?
Bad, yeah.
Yeah. So those are my two favorite
I started
songs.
laughing because every time I hear that song, I think of the kids, Egypt and Aaron and Egypt. They were so tired of that song because he was playing it every day. They got in a car with him and in the house.
So
they're like, "Can we stop listening to that song?"
The story behind that track, Bad Bad actually was one of the first tracks written for my original first album. So that was it was a part of the storyline of that album. But I was trying to figure out which direction I wanted to go with the sound because I'm not a singer. So you'll see on my album I have a lot of features specifically because I really like working with different talented artists. But from a sound perspective too, I wanted the sound that I wanted. So I work with different singers that I felt had that sound. So on that album, it's an artist called 232, who's a talented artist from New York. I met him at an event about 5 or 6 months ago and loved his sound. And basically, when we recorded this, I sent it to him. I wrote all of the lyrics, sent it to him. He loved it, and then he recorded his piece and sent it back to me. So the reason I was playing that every day is because I was trying to balance the sound. So I was trying to figure out which sound. We had 6 different versions of this song. So I was trying to figure out between these 6 which one should go on the album. So that's why, I did abuse it and had them listening to it every day. So shout out to my nieces, my nephews, and my kids.
So when you're going through, trying to choose a song for you, like, what is your creative process like? Do you listen first, then like, okay, I like this one or I don't like this one, or do you go back and say, okay, this is, or how do you know, like, what is your creative process? Like, how do you process which one is the right sound?
Usually the beat speaks to me first. So if I'm usually sent a few different beats at a time, about 2 or 3 beats at a time, sometimes more. and then I'll go through and basically whatever catches me and catches my attention, I'll automatically get a cadence of how the song's going to go. What I mean by a cadence is, and you probably heard it, of course you have, but you can go through my phone. I have about 100, 200 recordings of me just humming, like, of how I want it to go with no words. And then once I have that cadence, I build the words around the cadence. And then usually the cadence will first come to me about how I want the song to start and then how I want the chorus to go. And then once I get the chorus, the sound of the chorus, I build the chorus, and then that's the meat of it.
That's deep.
And then I build the words around it to make it make sense.
Okay. So you basically try to get the foundation first.
Correct.
And
Okay.
if you could open for any show artist, who will it be?
Open for anybody? Drake.
Really?
Yeah, and I say this because icon, like from an icon standpoint, in this day and time, I think he's probably one of the biggest icons of music of his age.
So I would say you admire. That's one of your artists that you admire.
Definitely. And the reason again is because he touches a different range of people that a lot of artists don't have the liberty of reaching. That's one thing that I say about me. I feel like my music is just not in the place where it's heard yet. I really believe in my sound and believe in my music. And I think that when it's heard by the right people, it'll move in the direction I want it to move in. So if I had that opportunity to have it on a platform like that, I wouldn't fail. I would really go hard to make sure that my best product and my best foot is put forward. So yeah, artists like that. And he at 90,000 a show minimum, you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
So,
I thought you was gonna say like Jay or Fab or something.
Nah, only because the reason I
Those
say
people
that,
are your top, like they're in your top 5, right?
of course, from an artist perspective. But the reason I say that is only because, like I don't want to get put in a box of I'm just this kind of rapper. Like everybody knows me as I got punchlines. I used to rap real hard, be a battle rapper, but I'm a writer first. All right, so that's why I'm saying like I idolize all these artists because they all, to me, they gave me the ingredients that made me as an artist. But I feel like I don't want to be necessarily put in a box of I'm just this kind of rapper, I'm just this kind of writer. Because even like when you hear this album, you'll hear the sound in this album, but my next album has a totally different sound. I write for different artists that don't sound nothing like me. So I just want to be looked at more as somebody that was a creator. You know what I mean? I created music, whether it's pop, hip hop, R&B, whatever it is. I just love creating a sound and creating music.
That's what's up. So I'm gonna put you on the spot then.
Alright, go ahead. Please do.
All right, do a little 1 minute freestyle for us. You want me to do a little beatbox?
Damn, you put me on the spot for real.
Come on, you can do it.
Okay. So hold on, before we do this, right? Let me tell y'all a story. So me and Brittany, about 8 years ago, we got hypnotized.
Oh my gosh,
Like,
I
no joke.
remember that.
No joke. It's real.
wow.
It's real. So we was on stage.
Wow, that's 8 years
And-
ago.
Of course, she thinks she my hype man. So they told us we was Chinese and we had to rap in Chinese.
Yo, did anybody have that recording?
Nah, I broke that DVD.
I doubt it. I think
I
we
swear to
did.
God, I did. I
You
broke that
did?
DVD, yeah.
I'm weak.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, so Brittany think that's why she beatboxing right now. She thinks she's my hype man.
All right, so are you gonna?
Come on, you gonna do it? Come on.
Y'all want me to do something for real?
Yeah.
Why not?
Come on.
Alright, go ahead.
And don't you can't be saying I'm back like a vertebrae. Ain't nobody heard of me.
See? Put me in a box.
Like-
That's what they was doing. That's what they want me
I'm
to
just
sound
saying
like.
I know that rhyme. So come on.
I might spit something. Y'all need a better beatbox.
Do you want me to do a different rhythm? You want me to do a
I
different
don't know.
rhythm?
I don't really know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I ain't Biz Marquee now. I'm trying.
Oh, y'all for real right now? How about we do that a little bit later in the interview?
Okay.
Let's talk a little
All right.
bit. He want to be here beatboxing.
I guess he's not good under pressure, huh?
I'll
Okay.
do
Do
it,
you
though.
okay? Let me see if I could come up with any other question. Oh. I can't think of. Okay, so if you weren't doing music, what would you be doing right now if it wasn't? I mean, I know you have a daytime job or whatever, but what is what's
My other
something?
dream.
Hmm?
Like, what's my other dream?
Yeah, like other dream maybe, or what would you be doing other than music beside your regular job?
I think my main focus would be philanthropy and kind of focus on the community. That's one thing I really wish I had more time to do. We've done events and things like that where we fundraise. We had a few good events where we fundraised thousands of dollars for a few different organizations. But I'm a giving person. I really like giving back. And coming from where I'm from, and not having opportunities, anytime that I can give somebody an opportunity and have that be put in a place where I can give somebody an opportunity, I would love to do that. So yeah, I think that would be it. Like I've connected and spoke to different people where that's their field. Like I work with organizations that need donations, and I work with them through my current job. When I was with my previous employer, that was a big thing that I did. I had access to funds for donations, and I really took that serious. You know what I mean? I had access to about 25 grand a year, and I would make sure it went to the organizations that really needed it and really wanted it, and we found out ways to do events to help them flip that money.
I miss those events.
So yeah, we're gonna get back to it after COVID.
Yeah.
But I think that would be my main focus. My family, my kids, and then giving back.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right. So did you have another question?
I could get back to it if I think
Okay,
about
because
it
I wanted to
later
ask
on.
about the music because I know that you're a male artist, but we have a lot of female artists as well. And I know
That my last interview.
really.
Go ahead.
So I grew up in the era where we had Remy, Foxy, Lil Kim. Then it came Nicki. She basically paved the way. I feel like she paved the way for a lot of female artists now, but I feel like she was in her own lane because she was the only one really making music at a certain point in time. But now we have Cardi, Meg Thee Stallion, we have Mulatto, like City
Rhapsody.
Girls, Rhapsody, like you get what I'm saying? We have all of these like female thriving artists. So like WAP, the Cardi and Meg song, like how you feel about that? What's your opinion?
All right, so from a from an artist perspective, I think WAP was a brilliant song because it was what the industry. It was like the peak of what the industry looks for. You had the two hottest females in hip hop collab together on the biggest topic that everybody talks about. So it was brilliant. Like that song was a brilliant song. You can say what you want about the content, which we've had that forever since forever. Music was music. Music is an expression.
Right.
So to me, like people want to put it when you're on that certain pedestal, because people make music like that every day.
Right.
I know a lot of artists that aren't really known and big that make that kind of music, but because of the level that they're at, everybody's gonna scrutinize it deeper than everybody else. But my thing is, music is just words. Like I think people kind of overthink it. Like overall, as an artist, yes, we have a responsibility to make sure we're thinking socially and doing what we need to do in the community to make sure we don't create negativity and things like that. But that song ain't hurting nobody, man. Like that's
exactly. And then the thing that got me that everybody was so like, they was so like, oh my god, like why are they talking about this? It's like, yo, the sample was Uncle Luke.
Right.
Like, did everybody miss that? Like, I think people missed that. It went over their head.
I mean, you got to think about it too. I'm looking at it from both perspectives. You gotta look at it in the times we're in right now. We are going through a lot socially as Black people, and more than ever, things are looked at deeper. So when you have an artist on that level that are preaching what they're preaching and putting that kind of music out, people are gonna say, "Well, why they not doing something positive? Why they not doing this?" But they just looking at the artistry piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and I think it's like people just like at the end of the day they all artists, and like you said, they being creative and making music because like even like Cardi B, like for example, like on her Instagram, she has Breonna Taylor on her Avi or whatever it's called. What is it called? Your profile, Instagram profile thing.
Yeah. So people are basically like trying to connect because they made the WAP song and they didn't make a social song that's bringing attention to the BLM movement and what's going on today, that they don't care.
Right, and that's not the
right.
case. That's not the case. That's not the
Artists
case.
are not gonna always make that. Now, when they're speaking and they having these interviews and they speak in their mind and their opinion, when you dig it into their life and they letting you know that I support this, that's what's important.
Right, because Cardi, she's an advocate for voting and she's an advocate for, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I feel like people sometimes, like, they overlook that. Like, she is an artist. She's a female artist. I feel like I like Cardi B music. Like, I don't think she's the most lyrical, but, you know, you have different artists for different things. Like, you know what I'm saying? I listen to different music for different things. I don't always listen to, like, if I want to listen to somebody that's lyrical, I'll listen to Kendrick or J. Cole or something. Or even Jay.
It's her life, though, y'all.
It is her life. Like, she do what she
was
wants.
Maya Angelou and she dropped WAP, that's different. Like, that's not the situation.
So you feel like because of who she is, right? That's what I was.
Stripper that came up and made something for herself.
Yeah,
she's gonna talk about what she know. That's what she know.
Right.
I
thought it was hard.
And my thing is too, like, from the other perspective, if she would have made another kind of song, people were like, "Oh, she changing up, she fake."
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you're not gonna get both sides, so just let her be herself.
And then what about like the city girls? Because the city girls, I be hearing their interviews. They like, well, men talk about it. Why can't women talk about it? Like,
this has been a discussion in music with every female artist that has ever come up. From Foxy, oh, she being too sexy. Lil' Kim, oh, she's sucking too sexy. This has always been the perspective because, one, we put females in a separate category of men. I know females that will destroy men lyrically. You know what I'm saying? But that sex is what's selling. That's what's on that bigger platform. That's not their fault. That's the consumer's fault. If we as consumers would buy more of Rhapsody's album and put her on a higher perspective from my album of that standpoint, then she would get that clout.
Right.
They getting that clout because they dropping what people want to hear. When you listen to music, the number one reason people are buying music is because they want to go out and have fun and listen to music and dance. Mm-hmm. So if you're creating that and that's what's going to pop, that's what it is.
Right.
I'm not going to the club and want to hear somebody talk about philosophy, apostrophe, and all of that. No.
Yeah.
A girl want to go and she want to dance.
Yeah, that's what the city girls said. They say we make club music. Like, we make music to have fun so people could enjoy themselves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like with your album, Good Vibes. Like, you could play your album with your girl, riding. Like, it's good vibes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just vibing.
Right.
But I just think, I don't know. I just think it's the way of the world. People going like, it's damn if you do, damn if you don't.
I mean, I was like that, y'all. Don't. I had to learn this coming up. Like, I used to be like, I would never. Some of the music that I've done now, I would say I would never put it out. When I was just a hardcore, I want to rip everybody head off and battle rap everybody. The stuff that I'm doing now is not in that genre. It's not really a comparison. But I feel like as a person, like I just had to kind of develop and really be real with myself overall. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I think, like, let me give you an example. 50 Cent, right? 50 Cent dropped Get Rich or Die Trying, got shot 9 times, right? Mm-hmm. Guy dropped Get Rich or Die Trying. He made a album, which is one of the best albums ever. He made an album based on the struggle. So if he dropped his second album when he wasn't struggling anymore, it's not going to connect to the same people that are still struggling. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So people will be like, "Oh, 50 changed. 50, bruh, he's not broke no more. Mm-hmm. If he was still broke, if he wasn't broke and talking about he broke, you're going to look at him like he fake."
That makes sense. Yeah.
Does that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just like Jay probably is the only one that was able to connect to all the audience as he grew because people saw him grow as an artist as times were changing too. Mm-hmm. So like he grew and went through the game
I
where
never thought about that.
Music was changing. Yeah. But if you look at, like, you can't take nothing away from 50. 50 was a hustler and he hustled his way up.
Look what he's doing now.
And the dude is using that same money to flip. And it's other artists that have been in his shoes that you don't even remember. You know what I'm saying? Like, have been in that level that are gone and just dropped off because they wouldn't change.
Right.
Like, y'all know I'm from Far Rockaway, Queens. R.I.P. Stack Bundles. You know what I mean? Stack was getting to a point in his life where he was blowing up, but he wouldn't leave the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta, like, look at it overall from, are you just gonna be this real? I'm the realest ever, and you gonna stay where you at, or you gonna make a change and then try to influence other people around you to make that change based off your movements. 50 Cent has so many artists that have come up under him that idolize not him as a person, but him as a entrepreneur, and took those entrepreneurship skills and ran with it. Like you could look at like it's your boy that do you Soldier Boy.
Soulja Boy, yeah.
Soulja Boy, for real.
No,
Soulja Boy went and turned his life around based on advice that 50 gave him. You know
And that's
what I'm
crazy.
saying?
Soulja
Like,
Boy was the first YouTube rapper.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He broke YouTube. So I don't know, man. I'm kind of ranting a little bit, but you know what I mean. That's how I feel when it comes down to artists and the way that the game has gone and evolved.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, like, I love the female rappers, female artists. I love music, period. Like, I just don't like the controversy, like, between, like, the men and women. I feel like we should come together more. Like, I feel like it should be more empowerment from the men and the women.
Overall, though, it's better than it was.
Yeah.
I really do feel like that. Like, I feel like you got female artists right now that will compete, and probably Beyonce is probably the number one artist, period, in the world. You know what I'm saying? From all genres. And you look like from a rap perspective, like Megan Thee Stallion, she can go to a college, but then she can go fill up a stadium.
Mm-hmm.
She can go to a high school and then go like it's artists that can't do that. It's artists that where they at, they can't hit both. So you can't take nothing away from these artists, female or not. Any artist, like you can't take nothing away from them based on it, because she's hustling. She's out there. She's like 25 years old.
I know.
She's like 24, 25 years old.
Yeah, and she getting it, and she's in college, and she doing her thing.
Right. So you can't take nothing away from them.
Nah,
like, and then she never changed up. Like, if you want to talk about that piece and talk about she switched up, nah, she's the same.
She the same.
You know what I'm saying? And then she's spitting based on her life experiences. So you can't take nothing away from that.
And then since we on Meg Thee Stallion,
that gonna be my boy Tory.
I'm just saying, like, do you feel like this is just like a general question though? Do you feel like black men protect black women?
Do black men protect black women?
Like they supposed to? Like in general, yeah. In regards to this situation,
I don't think so, honestly. And the reason I say that, I feel like we can do more. I think that me as a man, for example, with daughters, as I grew up, I had to look at myself and look at certain things that I've done, certain things that I've did, and think like, damn, what if that happened with my daughter?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that takes growth. I think we make attempts and we make it sound good, but we could do more. I just think as a people, we could do more as well. Right. Not necessarily just for our black women, but overall, I think that we do need to support our black women more.
Yeah, because this whole Meg and Tory situation, I don't really know like the full details of the story, because I think like a lot of stuff is like under investigation. So a lot of people not really like talking, they just throwing little shots and stuff. But from what I gathered from my research, apparently they were at a pool party, at Kylie Jenner's pool party, and I believe Meg and Tory were dating or hanging out. And I guess like he stated that like she was trying to attack him, and he like shot her away and accidentally shot her on her foot. But when they got pulled over and he got arrested because he had a gun in the car, she originally didn't say what happened. She said she stepped on some glass. Like, she's basically trying to cover up for the situation, and she wasn't trying to throw Tory Lanez under the bus, because I guess like maybe that was her dude. Maybe she was trying to protect him. But then it got out that Tory's camp was basically like, oh, well, she 5'11" and this and I had to defend myself. He basically trying to play victim, basically trying to say like, oh, well, I had to do that because she was attacking me. I don't think that's cool. Like,
so, all right, this is my thing though. You gotta hear everything from the horse's mouth. I think it's all hearsay.
Right.
I don't necessarily. Again, she said what she said. She said that he shot her. So that I have 100% belief behind that. You know what I mean? There's no justification behind that at all. Mm-hmm. Even if, as a man, like, even if a female is hitting you, you don't. They got another way to handle that. Don't shoot her.
Right.
Shoot her away, whatever you did. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know the whole story, but I feel there's no justification behind it. Period. You know what I'm saying? I can't hear nothing that can come from his mouth to talk about this story to make it justified for shooting acts towards whatever
anywhere towards a female,
you know,
or
what I'm saying?
anyone.
So
in
yeah,
that
anyone in
situation.
general.
Right.
So yeah, I really don't. I don't see. Him
It just bothers me because I love Tory Lanez too. I listen to his music. I mess with Tory Lanez, but it's just sad because it's like, dang, like she basically didn't even say nothing. She was basically trying to like cover his tracks for him. She didn't really speak on it until after it was allegations that like all these rumors coming up, and then his camp was talking about it. But that's why I was like, dang, like. Black men really don't be protecting black women like that, but a black woman will go above and beyond for a black man.
Right.
Like, that's how I feel. Like, you feel what I'm saying? I feel like that.
I mean, all right. So I'm gonna say this because I hate things like this because this is a situation based. Yeah, like I hate when people generalize everybody under one thing. I can't stand that. So I'm gonna say in this situation, yes, us as black men, we should have done better. But in situations that I've seen personally, I agree with that. But that perspective won't come from everybody because not everybody has seen it from that perspective or going through it. I mean, you could pull out if you got some numbers or some statistics or something, that's different. But just to say general statements,
next time we'll have that.
Right.
But we just talking about this situation in particular. But yeah. I mean, even like on social media and things like that, like I feel like I see a lot of posts with women and be like, well, women will go above and beyond for their man. They'll do X, Y, and Z while the man only does this. Like it's a lot of situations now where like some women will be like, well, the man is supposed to provide, protect, and it's another P, I forgot. But like nowadays it's modern, so it's not like everything is like 50-50. Like women do exactly what men do. Like women provide and take care of the household, and then men provide and take care of the household too. Mm-hmm. So it's like it just be a lot of controversy back and forth, and like a lot of people be like, well, women do more than men nowadays. Like now it's a thing where they're like, oh, women are more educated than men because more women have degrees and things in that nature. And I'm a type of person like. I have a degree. My husband don't have a degree. That don't bother me. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, we basically bring what we need to bring to the table to make our relationship work. Yeah. So I feel like it's like I guess it's like based on the relationship and it's based on the situation and stuff like that. But I don't know. It was just brought up. I see like little threads on social media and stuff like that. But in that situation with the Megan Tory, like, I feel like he did not protect her, and I feel like he needed to do better. And I don't think he should even discussed it. Period.
He did.
He probably was just trying to front.
We don't know.
Yeah, but
we don't know. Like we don't.
Yeah, we really don't.
Yeah,
we really don't.
That's what I was like,
people.
Don't.
I heard mad stories before she came out and said what she said. It was mad stories. It was stories that she was beating him up. It was stories that he just got mad and got jealous. It's mad different stories.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, cause I mean, as fans or the media period, they don't know exactly what happened, so people just assume. Okay, this is what happened. Because has Z come or had they both come and talked about it?
Nah, because it's under investigation. I guess they can't really talk about all the details and stuff like that.
So until we get it goes back to the judgment thing. Until we all get
all the full details.
Honestly, who the hell are we to even
say anything? We not.
Right.
We not. We not.
Owe nobody nothing but
He really don't. He really don't. But it's still a messed up situation. Yeah. I don't like it. Like, it's a messed up situation. I feel like it could have been handled differently. And I feel like I'm hurting for her because, like, other celebrities were commenting on it, making jokes in light of the situation. Like, that's not funny. Like, you know what I'm saying? This girl could have lost her life. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, so that's why I wanted to, like, get your take on it. But, of course, we outside looking in. We don't know all the details. We don't know every damn thing. But anyway, moving on. August Alsina. So, have you listened to his album?
No.
You don't like August?
You don't.
Nah, I'm not gonna say I don't like. I like artists are artists. I'm not a fan of his sound.
Really? That New Orleans accent, I love it. Yeah,
I'm not really like. Again, he's a good artist. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying from what I listen to and what I like necessarily. And I look from a writer's perspective. I think his music is very kind of generic. So that,
like he got that, like he just sound the same on everything type thing.
Correct.
I mean, I like August. I like some of his songs and stuff like that. But the reason why I brought him up is because with everything going on. He had like interviews and stuff with Angela Yee, and he explained like he named his album documentary State of Emergency, and basically that because all the racial injustices that's going on and stuff like that. So he was like, it was crazy that he was documenting and recording, and he dropped it at this time because it's a state of emergency. But in his interviews, he brought up the fact that he was messing with Jada.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was a lot of controversy between the two because they're like, oh, like he trying to like basically drop this album and talk to Angela Yee about him messing with Jada because he's trying to get, and that's a publicity stunt and all of that. So that's why I was asking if you heard his album and stuff like that.
No, I haven't. This is my first time actually hearing this in general too. This what you're saying. But again, smart. Like you can't, I'm gonna be for real, man. This music industry and life itself is hard. You got to get in however you can get in. If he gonna ride that wave and it's gonna get people listening, and it's gonna get people to come behind him and get him some money in his pocket, do it.
So is that something you would do?
What, like a publicity stunt kind of thing? I mean, it depends on like the situation. I'm still not gonna put myself in a situation that's gonna hurt my character,
right?
Or put me in a situation that's gonna kind of belittle my family or any of my values. But if I was in that situation and you got Will Smith and Jada Pinkett and the shit went down the way it went down,
and Red Table
I'm gonna talk about that shit. They talked about it. Why not?
Yeah,
talk about it.
So that's what everybody was like, oh, August, he a sucker for that and this and this. But I listened to some of his songs.
But I guarantee when people listen to his album. Yeah,
because I did. It drew me to it. And I looked at his documentary, and to be honest, like besides the music, he younger than me, but he has a lot of health issues. He done been molested as a kid. Like he done had it bad. Like I felt bad for the kid. Like I'm like, damn, let me listen to his music. Let me listen to his album, get some streams. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I felt bad because I'm like, damn, like he really came from the hood. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I could resonate with that, like not growing up without a dad, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so I resonated with it, but people was just saying like, oh, he corny for that because like now he want to bring up him dealing with Jada, which him and Jada had a relationship, but it was like years prior. So they're like, oh, this happened mad years ago. Why he bringing it up now? So I guess he used that as a publicity stunt for people to listen to his music, but it worked because Jada and Will talked about the Red Table Talk, and she said that they had an entanglement. So. So, then people started making memes about it. And then he made another song. Did you hear the song with him and Rick Ross? Yeah. Did you hear it?
Of course.
Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It was brilliant.
That's crazy. So.
And Ross' verse was fire, by the way.
It really was. And I was like, dang, I wonder how Will Smith feel, though.
But, man, y'all think this dude care about this, man? Y'all really think he care about this shit?
I don't know.
That nigga don't care about this shit. It ain't stopping his bread. None of this is going to stop that man money. This is nothing, yo.
That's crazy.
This is nothing. Like, he don't care about none of this, man.
I guess not.
I win. All right, cool. It is what it is.
But I guess now, like, they could talk about it because it happened years ago. So it's not like, we already dealt with this. Like, you know what I'm saying? The public is just now hearing about it. But when it was going on, I think it was speculation when it was going on. But I guess, like, nobody really, I didn't know. I'm like, first of all, she's almost my mother's age, for one. For two, August is like Bubby's age. So it was just like, what? I was kind of baffled. Like, what the hell? But, Okay. All right. Moving on. You got any other questions?
I mean, I think we cover a lot, but Keith, like, what is the one trouble that you've ever gotten into? I'm just curious.
Trouble?
Like, yeah.
Really nothing. I be chilling. Yeah, I be chilling, y'all. Like, for real. Never been locked up. Nothing.
Okay.
So go ahead.
How do you feel about the internet impact the music business?
The internet, how it impacted?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we talked about like the YouTube era, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like Soulja Boy and stuff like that. The internet made it a lot more accessible for the consumer, but it did make it harder for the artist.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is there's a lot of ways to kind of cheat the system a little bit now through the internet, where you had to really like be creative with the way that you're putting out music. I think it challenged artists too to make more music because you know back in when we were doing like albums and albums would drop, you know, you would get the release date, you would drop like one album a year, maybe one every 2-3 years. Now you have to compete because it's just so easy. Even from a recording standpoint, you have to go to the studio. Now you can just record anywhere
On
you
your
want.
phone.
Yeah, anywhere
Right.
you want and get a good sound. So it made it more competitive, but it gave more opportunity too. Cause I think that artists that or just people in general, like from a like being talented and being creative. Now you have a platform where you can like just jump on the internet and get it out there. You know what I mean? So it made it again from an artist standpoint a lot more competitive. And I think that from a buyer's perspective, it made it more accessible and easier. And it made artists rely more on their shows too than
Yeah, I
for
was gonna
income.
ask. I was gonna add, but I think you covered it. I was gonna ask you if you could change anything about how the music industry is now. Like, what would it be? But I think
If I could
you.
change anything of what the way the industry is now, um, honestly, I would like to see more development of our youth.
Okay.
Um, we focus so much on a quick buck and a quick sound. Um, hey, this single is the single. This is what's popping in my hood. Okay, now we got followers in the hood, and now we could keep running with it. But I think our youth kind of get skipped, and then they look at the next artist versus actually trying to create themselves as artists. So I think that the more focus on the youth, if we had maybe some programs or some programs in school that are around teaching kids music, you know, like modern music, not necessarily a music class where you learn how to play the clarinet or or the recorder, but like focusing on writing, focusing on the way to break down music, focusing on how to resonate and bring poetry into music, things like that. So that's what I think. I think a bigger investment in the youth would be huge
Yeah, that's
for
why we should
music.
defund the police. Nah,
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, like
Oh man, you almost said
speaking of that, how do you feel about what's going on right now with like the whole, Black Lives Matter than justice? Like, how do you feel
um,
about that?
this is something again that's been going on forever. Um, forever. And we tired. You know, as a
we are
people, we tired.
exhausted.
Exactly. We've been tired, but I think now we're really exhausted to the point that we're looking beyond just
Feel
today.
it
Um,
overflows.
and we're not just looking at a situation because a lot of I think that a lot of the way, especially the way the media is, a lot of situations that happen make us react. Um, so I think now we're being a little bit more proactive than ever, and trying to do things. I do wish we were a little more organized. And again, I'm not one to speak on how to organize it necessarily. I'm just stating my opinion on how I feel, but I feel like we do need more organized and really hit them where it hurt, hit them in their pocket. You know what I mean? Like I really feel like if we were organized and we really
So
put
how do
something
you
together,
feel?
where we
I mean,
can.
you say you feel like if we were organized. So what do you think could change that? Like, what do you think could make us come together and plan those organizations?
Plan those organizations or
Yeah.
like getting more organized.
Right.
I think just focusing on really supporting black businesses.
Yep.
Um, looking into black banks, looking into ways. Now, again, this system is not it's not creative for us.
Nope.
You know what I mean? It's not. We all know this. And it's tough, but if we really put our numbers together for us as a people, but as a people, we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust each other. So like we always are gonna look at it as if I'm not gonna say we always will. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking from my generation that I've come accustomed to and people that I've come into in my generation. That's why my biggest focus is kind of looking at my kids and focusing on teaching them so they can change it. Because if we're not gonna do it, somebody has to.
Nah, for
Um,
real.
so that's how I look at it. But to go what you were saying, but yeah, really just focusing on putting our funds and things that will help us as
yeah,
people.
that
Black
matter, that help
community.
us. But that's why I was saying like about the defunding police. At first, I was like, but then I was like, damn. But if we take money away from that and put it into the communities and build community centers and have programs, music programs, carpentry programs, like things that these kids could actually, take advantage of, or like have the husbands and the moms and go with their children to these programs and like be mentors for these kids. I feel like that'll help these kids. They won't be in the streets, they won't be out here doing unnecessary things, like, you feel what I'm saying, like. But then I don't know.
So I look at it from both sides, y'all. So I think defunding the police is an option, but that's the option we chose based on the way we're being treated by the police.
Right.
So moving those dollars to where you're saying it does sound good, right? But the overall change that will need to happen is the way that we as people move with it. We don't necessarily have to defund the police. We can change our ways and fund our own community centers.
Yeah,
Fund
true.
our
That's
own.
true.
We can do it ourselves. This is the thing that I really don't like about like that specific thing. Is that we're still looking at a way to take away from somebody else to give to us as if we need them.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
That's
we
real.
don't.
That's
like
real.
we don't. Defunding police, yes, we're mad, we're upset, defund them, yes, XYZ. But yeah, I'm be for real, yo. I know where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know certain situations, yes, I wish that the police brutality would stop. That's number one. I want that to end. And it's been going on for so long. But defunding the police necessarily in certain areas is gonna, until our mindset changes, it's not gonna help it, because you still gonna have the people that are still doing robbing, stealing, doing the negative piece. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Nah,
Yeah,
yeah.
makes
So
sense.
I think overall we just need to help them change their mindsets, and then again force their hand. Take
Yeah.
the money away
Take the
from
money away
the
and
overall, not just the police. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true. I'm saying overall, including defunding the police. I feel like this is what I feel. I feel like it needs to be more training. I feel like police officers need to get mentally evaluated. It needs to be like a mental assessment. Like, if you mentally cannot handle this job, you do not need a gun and a badge. Like, that's how I feel. I didn't know it was that easy to become an officer.
But yeah, look. So I agree. That's we definitely need that. But then you gotta look at who's evaluating. Who's gonna be the one evaluating? Then you gotta look at who trained them to evaluate. Then you gotta look at who trained them to be a trainer. It's always gonna be somebody
That's gonna push them through and just let them do it.
Yes, yo. Like, it's always gonna be somebody with that negative background. Like, we need to do it ourselves. Let's get in our communities. We police our communities. Does that make sense? With people that we trust, that will fund. Like, and I'm not saying that that's something that's going to take a lot to change and a lot to happen. And again, that's why I just want to kind of instill this and teach my kids, because I don't think it's going to happen in the generation we're currently in, sadly. But I do want to see that change has to happen, because our kids and their kids need this. You know what I mean?
So
need
they don't have to go
change.
through the same thing.
Yeah,
I pray,
like,
man, that they don't.
It's
'Cause
crazy.
this has been going on for like generations.
Everywhere. You can live in the worst neighborhood and the best neighborhood, but you're gonna go through it if this is your color. Like, and that's what our kids need to understand. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for sharing that. So Keith, what's next for you?
COVID slowing stuff up. Again, I want to get back in the community and do more in the community, like I was saying earlier. So my biggest thing is I want to line up some events in the East Coast to kind of fundraise for different organizations. Really focus on that. The album is out. The album is done. If you haven't heard it already, please go download it. It's on all streaming platforms. It's also on my website, KeithShariff.com.
Tell them how to spell it.
Keith Shariff, KeithShariff.com. So you can go to my website and you can download my entire project. Also, like, we have different resources and things like that for my products and my merchandise. on the website. My next thing that I'm really focusing on as well, I'm working with a few different artists, working on their projects. A young lady named Alexia McCree, that's on my album. She's on the track "Say My Name," and she's in That Vibe video that we're premiering on the 9th. That actually comes out 9/9 at 9:09. On my social media, Keith Shariff, everything KeithShariff. But you can check that out on there. But focusing on working with a few different artists, really focus on a writing perspective, and then from there just continue to keep pushing and working on good music. That's my biggest thing. I just want to keep creating. I try to write as much as I can every day, and just keep creating music, not necessarily for the consumer, but for myself. I think it's therapy for me. So I really want to focus on continuing to just keep making music every day. Also, soon we're going to focus on an event around my entertainment company that I'm creating called Tailored Suits Entertainment. And our focus is on really creating a professional and higher standard and lifestyle for people and artists. So I really want to, and what I mean by that is, like, I'm focusing on how to bring like a positive and creative vibe to the community that I'm in, and really focus on events that are around like coming up, dressing up. You got a suit on.
We need that
And
in this area.
and we've done a few, and we fundraised at a few, which have been good fundraisers for us. But continue to do that. COVID kind of got it kind of slowed up though. But yeah, just look out for that. Different events I really want to focus on. And that Tailored Suits brand, I want to create a one-stop shop where artists can come and get any kind of resources they need, from studio time to music videos to if you need somebody to help you write, if you need a vocal coach, things like that. TailoredSuitsEntertainment.com will be coming soon, and it'll help artists get those kind of resources as well.
Because I wish I could sing, so maybe y'all could help me.
Yeah, she needs Jesus.com. But we going to
I can sing.
Speaking of that, like, what advice would you give anyone who wants to either start or who write music and want to like do something with their music? What advice would you give them?
do it. Like, do not just do it.
So
And what I mean by that
telling you to
is,
do it.
what I mean by that is, y'all, it's words. It's just get out there and just have fun. Like, I think we compare ourselves too much. So I want to be Jay-Z. I want to be Rihanna. I want to be Beyonce. When Beyonce and Jay-Z and Rihanna was coming up, they didn't know there was going to be Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Rihanna. They didn't know they didn't know that. They just went out and they did it. You know what I mean? So don't put yourself in a box. Go out there, have fun, and do it for you. You know what I mean? Don't do it to be the next Beyonce. Do it because you want your kids to say, I want to be the next you. If that makes sense.
It's you.
Oh, speaking of issue, the music, if y'all want to listen to the full music of our theme song for Love Life After Addicted, it's actually on the album too. So y'all can make sure y'all listen to the full song.
Make sure y'all get that.
I didn't even know that. That's what's up.
Yeah.
You didn't know Addicted was on the album?
No, fool.
Damn.
I didn't know that. I'm about to say, so I did have one more question before we closed out. So if you were presented with like a distribution deal or like a label deal, would you accept? Like, say, like, yeah, I'm gonna give you like $3 million right now, but then you got to give them, like, I don't know how that really works because I'm not in the industry, but this is what I hear. That people offer like $2 to $3 million up front, but then it's like everything that you sell them, so they got to get 10% of it or something. Is that how that works?
So it's different. You talking about a label deal?
A label deal, a distribution deal is something different, right?
It's different, right?
Okay.
A distribution deal is basically where you're signing the deal where they're going to distribute your music for you.
Okay.
And they do put money up front for you, and you got to pay it back. But the dividend that you get from the profit should offset what you get based on what they gave you. So you're saying if
you was presented, if you was presented a label deal, like what would your requirements have to be?
So in order for me to a label deal for my label, you're saying?
Yeah.
All right. So
because I know you independent.
Correct. I'm independent. All right. So if a label came to me and said they want to sign me, would I take it? Yes. It depends on the deal. It depends on if it was today, right? It depends on the overall end result. So if it's a label deal where I want to get what I need as an artist to progress, yes, I would take it. If it's a 360 deal where they're taking everything from me, and from an artist standpoint, I'm not going to progress unless I can take that money and take it and put it in other endeavors in business so that I can grow as a person. That's the difference.
Okay.
See, a lot of artists, when you look at people talking about these 360 deals, these are artists that are just artists, and they're not really looking at the fact that the label is saying that they're going to take anything that you ever get and anything that comes from your name and your trademark. Mm-hmm. They're always going to get dividends from it.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying? It sucks. But then these artists, though, if you came to me and said, I'm giving you $1 million, I'm just looking at $1 million. You know what I'm saying? So again, you gotta have the mindset of what you really want to do with it. I'm not gonna say that I wouldn't. It kind of depends on the situation.
It depends if the situation is right.
Yeah, correct.
That's what's up.
But independent is the way to go. If you can go, if you can get an independent deal, and you got that hustle and that drive where you pushing it, and then the label or the independent company that's behind you is just kind of helping you put your ducks in a row and put a little bit of front money in front that you can afford, and then they're not taking all your dividends in the long run. Then. But that's the way to go. That's the way most artists are going now, because they're bringing that to the table, and that's what labels are looking for as well. They're looking for somebody that's already established, so it's less work for them. If that makes sense.
Okay. All right. So you gonna give me my freestyle or no?
Damn.
I thought you forgot.
Hell no, I ain't forget.
Okay, how about you do maybe one of the song that you like on an album or something.
All right. So all right.
Let me see.
Let me talk about let me see. I want to say a verse from one of my tracks that resonate with me the most. Let me see. All right. So I got a track that actually what the video was out for. It's called That Vibe. And that's really one of the main tracks on my album that was kind of introduction to me. And let me kind of talk about the video too. When you see the video, all right, look for the personification and the symbolism behind the song before you jump to conclusions of the ending, if that makes sense. You'll see it and make it make sense. But I said how did I start that? You gonna make a beat? Brett Markey?
I mean, what song is
That
it?
Vibe.
That Vibe? Okay. You want me to play it?
I thought you you don't want to go acapella?
Yeah.
Alright. Yo, y'all crazy. Alright, I said, flow sick, kill 'em, COVID-19, put your life commission, my only mission's to quarantine. We one in the same, homie, we got the same scene, but a different aura, your whole persona is green screen. Look real, but we all know it's fake. We see through them smiles and we all know it's hate. But I could understand, cause if I was in your shoes looking at me, I'd probably be my biggest fan. Track killer, give me life, I could afford a sentence. Talk cheap, but you lames can't afford a sentence. I'm about more than mimics, send them to the mall for gimmicks. Highway of success, speeding through and I ignore the limits. Rap was looking bad, but now I'm here. Spit crack, running laps, man, you lames whole careers. See, I'm sicker than the AIDS. They say I be next. Now scratch that, I say I'm the best.
Woo! That's fire. That's what's up. So it's 12 tracks on there. Okay.
Yeah, 12 tracks. And we got a bonus track coming out on 10/10 on October 10th. It's a bonus track. It's a remix to the single Nobody, featuring Bella V and Jay Renee with DJ Wade Banner.
Woohoo!
All right. So be looking out for that. All right, so
anything else you want to add, or do you have any questions?
Yeah, do you have any questions for us, sir?
So, nah, I ain't got no.
Good.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank y'all so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Good Vibes Only is the album. Keith Shariff, KeithShariff. Make sure y'all go cop that Good Vibes Only album. Hit me up at KeithShariff.com. I have a comment section on my contact page. If you ever want to reach out to me, give me some feedback, I would love it and appreciate it. Hit me on any of my social medias, or Keith Shariff straight through, no spaces. Just let me know what y'all think. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, and that was Love Life After. contact us and hit us up at lovelifeafter18@gmail.com. Follow us on every social media at love.lifeafter for any questions, comments, or if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast. And thank you for listening and tuning in. And we out. Peace.
I know I'm addicted. Know I'm addicted. I know I'm addicted. I know I'm addicted.